What happens in our brainwave when we are absolutely calm? We can see the brain waves according to the mind function. We can look into the mind into various dimensions. How calm is the mind? How secure is the mind? How how is the well-being of the mind? How is the energy of the mind? How is the self-consciousness of the mind? Hello, I am Jamaludheen. I am a researcher of consciousness through science and ancient wisdom. Today, I would like to share with you what happens in our brainwave when we are absolutely calm. That means when we are able to be 99 or 100% calm in our mind, what are the changes that happens in the brainwave? So to show uh, that, I am using my meditation session, which was a 12-minute meditation session, which I did like 3 months before, and I'm using the Mind Fitness system, and I am the founder of Mind Fitness system, which is a real-time mind assessment system using brainwaves. So in this example, in this session, I was absolutely calm. This was the highest calmness score that I was able to achieve for last decades of my research onto my meditation and my documenting of my consciousness through brainwaves. So in this report, we can see we are seeing here how was my calmness. So this is the Mind Fitness system, and we are looking into the real-time brainwave graph. So this is the brainwave graph, and the speciality of Mind Fitness system is we can see the brain waves according to the mind function, not just alpha, beta, gamma, but what is the associated brainwave frequency for the mind function. For example, we can see how was the thinking. So this was how the brainwave frequency associated with thinking was happening during those meditation session. So this is the power spectral density of the brainwave frequency band related to thinking. So by understanding calmness means the subjective experience of calmness is when a person is able to work efficiently his thoughts, his reasoning, and his understanding, then we can call him he is calm, consciously calm. So if when we can analyze the thinking, reasoning, and understanding, how it is happening in the real time, we can say that if a person could think very efficiently and clearly without going to overthinking and without having any disorders, if a person can reason without having any anxiety issues, if a person can understand without having any judgmental issues, that is when we call that person to be calm. So taking that cue from subjective experience, we designed an algorithm which can track our thinking, reasoning, and understanding in real time and see the different features and understand and give a percentage score on what is how much is the calmness. So in that particular session, I was able to generate the 99% calm. So what does it mean in the subjective experience? That's what I want to explain to you all. So from our research and from the looking into the ancient tradition, especially the ancient Egyptian wisdom, we understood that the first and foremost feature any meditation tradition or any mental health techniques should follow is, if we have mind wandering, that is big red flag. So if you have mind wandering, that is one of the biggest inefficiency in the brain waves, because it generates lot of energy to create mind wandering. So we are checking what is the mind wandering for each brainwave frequencies associated with thinking, reasoning, and understanding. So here you can see there was only 1% mind wandering during that session. Here also in the reasoning there is only 1%. So this is how we do it. So we are checking individually the brainwave frequency band of thinking and seeing how is thinking happening for throughout the session. So throughout the session there was only 1% of wandering in the thinking brainwave frequency, and we are checking how much of stability is able to keep in that particular brainwave frequency. So if when during the session it is very visible that the stability was like it was like highly stable, but it started building stability, and that is how it maintained a rhythm here. So if you zoom it, we can see that there are a lot of uniform rhythms throughout. So by understanding how much of stability it maintained during the session, for all the three brainwave frequency bands associated with calmness, that is thinking, reasoning, and understanding, we can come to a conclusion of how much calm a person was. So, and one another feature in the brainwave which is associated with the efficiency of the mind is there any disorder? So if there is a breach of order between the two mind functions, for example, if you are thinking, your power of thinking in the mind is too powerful and it is breaching your power spectral density of your reasoning, that is actually a disorder. So from the subjective experience of the subjective experience point of view also, when you think too much, that is overthink, that is when you depreciate the efficiency of your ability to reason. When you think too much, it affects your emotion. When you think too much, it affects your ability to understand. So that is how in the brain waves as well, if you have too much power in one particular mind function, it creates disorders. So the brainwave behaves exactly like what is our subjective experience, because each brainwave is nothing but the neural firing of our neurons in the brain. So any activity in the brain, if there is an electrical discharge, and we can detect it, and by understanding the features like how much wandering is happening, how much stable is the brainwave at a particular time, and how much it is breaching the order or how much it is maintaining the order, we can understand and give a percentage score on the efficiency of particular mind function. So that is how we measured how is our efficiency in the thinking, reasoning, and understanding, and generated a score of 99%. So this was one of my best meditation session where I was able to bring my mind into absolute calmness. And how did I reach there? We can see during those sessions what was the state of mind. So in mind fitness, we can look into our brain waves not only according to our mind functions, how it mind function working, we can see what was the state of mind during those sessions as well. So here you can see 18% of the time the thinking was coherent, and 67% of the time it was neutral, because in a to bring your mind to absolute calmness, you don't it's always better not to engage in thoughts. That is exactly what was happening during those meditation session. So I was able to keep my thinking process neutral, and I was only thinking when I was required. And when it was thinking, it was actually having a coherent thinking. It was not there was only 14 percentage incoherent thinking. So by looking into what was the states during those meditative session, we can also understand if uh, is the mind neutral, or is the mind engaged in coherent thinking, or is it the thoughts going incoherent. So by reasoning also, there was 83% I was not I was maintaining neutral state, and 11% I was having coherent thinking, and 5% only incoherent reasoning. So same way, if you when we looked into how was the understanding, what are the state of mind of understanding, 12% of the time it was coherently understanding, 81% of the time it was neutral, where I was not engaging with understanding at all, because I was conscious and mindful and being the reality and not engaging with any of that mind function. So that is what the meditation session I was going on, and only 7% of the time there was incoherent thinking. So there was no mental health conditions as well. So by looking into this, by looking into how was my mind wandering, how was the stability of the mind, is there any breach of order, or what was the state of mind during, how much was time it was coherently thinking, how much time it was neutral, and what are the incoherent things happening in each mind function. We can come into a uh, percentage score based on all these features, and that is how we in the mind fitness measure the calmness of the mind. So in the same way, we can measure how much secure is the mind during a particular session. To check how secure is the mind, we measure cognition, how is the cognition happening for that moment, how is the emotion happening for a particular session, and how is the attention happening. So by understanding the wandering, stability, and breach of order, we can see how secure is the mind. So if you look into this, there is actually 12% of breach of order. So here we can see, so this emotion trying to be higher than attention, that is what is happening here in this particular moment. So that is actually a breach of order, and here emotion is coming down and the cognition is higher than emotion. So all these breach of orders happening in microsecond, that is the moment where the emotion is overpowering. If it is an incoherent moment during an incoherent emotion like anger or it being sad, it reflects in the brain wave and it shows up. So you can see here in the mental health condition, 7% of the time anger was present, and 1% the fear was existing in this uh, real-time mental health assessment when you checked for how secure is the mind. So by this way, we can understand how secure is the mind, how is the well-being, and well-being is measured by understanding how is your mind using your sensation ability and your feelings. So I can understand that during those session I have the disorder of oversensitivity. So that is what uh, blocks us from accessing our higher conscious mind. So we being uh, brought up from our environment to be very oversensitive in the mind, like not being in an acceptance, not being in a flow state, not being in submissive to whatever happening around us. But we especially most of the people in stressful situation, they'll be brought up to be oversensitive in the mind. So I am going through uh, in my awakening journey, I am trying to heal the oversensitivities that I programmed into my mind from my childhood. So once I can heal my oversensitivity, I can access and I can uh, create better clarity in my mind. So by understanding how is well-being, how is our energy working, how is our self-conscious, we can look into the mind into various dimensions. How calm is the mind? How secure is the mind? How how is the well-being of the mind? How is the energy of the mind? How is the self-consciousness of the mind? How is our awareness? How mindful am I, or how much is conscious? So during this meditation session, I was 91% self-aware, 76% mindful, and 60% conscious. So this is a very um unique approach to looking into the brainwave, which I was inspired from the wisdom of ancient Egyptians, how they looked into the mind and how they tried to understand the efficiency of the mind by listening into the brainwave frequency through resonance chambers and listening into the like the tune of brainwave frequency by being very still in the resonant chambers. So the same thing is what we are trying to understand through the modern EEG devices as well. So the modern EEG devices like Muse can be connected with mind fitness system, and when you meditate or when you try to assess your mind through brain waves with mind fitness system, it can send via Bluetooth to mind fitness system, and mind fitness system can decode your brain waves according to functions of mind. And the difference in approach is when you look into the mind through alpha, beta, gamma, most of the frequency ranges are not associated with the functions of the mind. Uh, but if through our research we understood that in the every mind function like thinking, reasoning, and understanding, there are different frequency bands. By trial and error, we were able to generate the particular bandwidth associated with each functions of the mind. So by understanding the features of each brainwave band, we are able to categorize and generate these codes. So if you are a biohacker interested in looking into your mind deeply and awaken your consciousness and heal yourself, I hope you can use mind fitness system to understand the mind in its various dimensions. And I hope this video brings you the idea of what is mind fitness system and how we can use our technology and compare the ancient practices and generate documentation of our own spiritual journey. I hope this helps you in understanding your mind better. So if you are a person interested in biohacking, you can try out mind fitness with your Muse device, and there is 7 days free trial. And if you have any doubt on how to practice or how to do it, please revert back to me at my email address. I'll be helping you to try out the system. Thank you very much for being with me for this time. See you in the next video.